Hello and welcome to another episode by Porygon Tube. It's Kish here, and today I will be bringing you a Delphox deck. So we're using the Delphox from Fates Collide, which has two incredible attacks. The first one is Flickering Flames for 40 damage. Your opponent's Pokemon is now asleep, and I often use this attack to buy time when I can't get knockouts with Psystorm. So Psystorm's an incredible attack for 3 colorless energy, 20 damage times the amount of energy attached to all Pokemon in play. That is yours and your opponent's. So the damage on this can rack up really fast. If you think about the meta around at the moment, a lot of decks need a lot of energy in play. Mewtwo, Darkrai Giratina, Xerneas Break, they all need energy in play to do a lot of damage, and this is where Delphox can really capitalize. And it's a one prize attacker, so the prize trade really works well. Now, obviously it's a stage 2, so it's quite hard to get them out. So we use Talonflame. Talonflame is a stage 2, but thanks to its Gale Wings ability, if this Pokemon's in your hand when you start setting up play, you may put it face down as your active Pokemon. So basically, if it's in your opening hand, you can chuck it straight down as your active, and we use it for the Aero Blitz attack, which is a great attack for one colorless, do 40 damage, and search your deck for up to 2 cards and put them into your hand. So we can search up any 2 cards that we need, so really, you don't run into the problem of too many dead hands, and you can get Rare Candy, Delphox, Supporters, Fennekins, whatever you need on the first couple of turns of the game to get set up. We also happen to run the Talonflame Break, so most people don't know what this does, but if you turn your head 90 degrees to the left, you'll see Flare Blitz, which for 2 fire does 150 damage, discard all fire energy attached to this Pokemon. So it is a little bit against the strategy of the deck in that Flare Blitz discards energy, but we're trying to keep energy in play to use Psystorm with Delphox. But it's a great finisher. Often I'll use this as the last surprise attack of the game because it's fairly easy to power up, just 2 energy, and you can do 150 damage and take your last 2 prizes. Or if my opponent's in a weak spot, like they only have 1 Pokemon powered up with all their energy on it, and I think it's a critical turn, I might just use Flare Blitz, take them out of play, and set them back a long way. But the main reason I'm running the Talonflame Break is the HP buff that it gives the Talonflame. It puts it up to 170 HP, which is really hard to hit for a lot of decks early on, so it gives you a lot of turns to Aero Blitz, which is really nice. And we're running the fire energy, so why not play Talonflame Break? It's only 1 spot and it really adds a lot to the deck. So we run a 4-2-4 Delphox line. You can cut this to 4-1-4, but I tend to draw extremely badly, so I need the 2 Breaksons in there to get my Delphox out. Now, we also run 2 of the Delphox Break. This has the amazing ability Flare Witch. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may search your deck for a fire energy and attach it to one of your Pokemon. So this is again getting more energy in play for Psystorm, and it really is strong. Especially with that 180 HP, a lot of decks struggle to 1-hit KO a Delphox Break, and they often have to 2-hit KO you. And honestly, if they're 2-hit KOing your Delphox Breaks, you're in a really good spot because Psystorm just racks up so much damage so quickly. It is essentially a stage 3, but it's so powerful. It's really what makes this deck tick over. You always want to get at least 1 Delphox Breakout, and if you get 2, then you're really rolling. There's not too much your opponent can do if you manage to get 2 Delphox Breaks into play, because you're getting 2 extra attachments per turn, and plus your 1 manual attachment from hand. So that's a lot of energy onto the field from just your side, so Psystorm can really hit really hard. 1 Shaman EX, really just to stop dead draws, and it really doesn't matter if your opponent KOs the Shaman and takes 2 prizes, because honestly, most of the time I find myself only being able to set up 3 to 4 Delphox, so that's 3 to 4 prizes for your opponent, and if they KO a Shaman for the last 2 prizes, then so be it. But that's basically your 6 prizes laid out. It's probably going to be 1 Talonflame, 3 Delphox they have to get through, and the 1 Shaman. So most of the time I'll just send the Shaman out as a sacrifice while I set up the Delphoxes behind. And your opponent really isn't going to turn it down too often. They'll often choose to take out the Shaman and take 2 prizes, and I'm quite happy for that to happen so I can set up my Delphoxes and get rolling. So really, the deck looks a little bit underwhelming, but when you actually play it, it really is strong. And let's have a look at the trainer engine. 3 level walls, purely to set up your Fennekins and Breaksons. 4 rare candy, because you really want the turn 2 Delphox, so that you can turn 3 get the Delphox breakout and really start rolling. 1 super rod, just general utility to shuffle back fire energy or your Delphox lines. 4 ultra ball, again essential to get out your Pokemon early doors, and also helps you get rid of your dead cards like Talonflames. So you'll have the 1 Talonflame that you'll hopefully start with, and the other 3 Talonflames are going to be dead in the deck, so they're just ultra ball fodder. And if you don't start with a Talonflame, if you start with a Fennekin or a Shaman, then the Talonflames really are just ultra ball fodder. So free ultra balls is nice when you get to discard useless stuff like Talonflame. 4 VS Seeker, card's good, lets you get back your supporters, pretty standard. 1 Lysander, you're really one-hit KOing everything that your opponent can throw out, so 1 Lysander is pretty sufficient. I haven't found myself needing any more than that. 4N is really good in the deck because you're falling behind most of the time. A lot of the meta is much faster than Delphox, so they'll KO maybe the Talonflame, a Fennekin, and a Shaman. They'll go down to 3 or 4 prizes, and then you can just end them down, come back and sweep them. So 4N is really nice. 1 Pokemon Ranger, purely for Glaceon. Now Glaceon you'd think would be a bad matchup, but actually I've never lost a game to Glaceon, purely because they cannot one-hit KO the Delphox break. They can only do a maximum of 160 times 2 for weakness if they have a Fighting Fury belt. So really, they can't one-hit KO a Delphox break, and if you can play your Ranger, you'll just one-shot them. So yeah, I really haven't found Glaceon to be too much of a problem, but obviously if your opponent gets a quick Glaceon like turn 2 or something, you might be in a bit of strife, but so far I've been lucky and I haven't been really run into many fast Glaceons, and I haven't found it to be a problem. 4 Professor Sycamore, it's a good card, best supporter in the game, lets you draw your stuff. 3 Silent Lab, this is really just to buy you some time so you can set up the Delphoxes. We only have 1 Shaman. Most of the time I'll play my Shaman and then Silent Lab to try and shut off my opponent's Shamans and Hoopers. It's really good late game as well. When you're ending your opponent down, they can't just Ultra Ball for the Shaman and then get 6 new cards. So Silent Lab's really nice in the deck. I initially didn't have any stadiums in the deck and just went for pure consistency, but I think you really do need to slow your opponent down, because too often my board was just getting devastated before I could set up, and I really found the Silent Lab to be really helpful in allowing me to have the time to set up. 1 EXP share, just a nice one of. You can pretty much just drop it anywhere, it doesn't really matter. It means that you can spread your energy out on the board because there's no tool removal in the format. So a lot of times I'll spread my energy out, making it hard for my opponent to choose which Delphox or which Fennekin or Breaksin to go for. Because I have the EXP share, even if they knock out something with energy and I have no energy on any of my Delphoxes, the EXP share will activate, I'll get the fire, and then it's just a DCE for me to attack with Psystorm. 4 DCE, amazing card in this deck. Psystorm is for 3 colors, so with a fire and a DCE, you're able to attack with Psystorm. In addition, it provides 2 energy, so it's adding 40 damage to your Psystorm. Really, really good card. 8 fire, I had 9 before I had the EXP share, and I found 8's fine. It really does the job. It gives you enough energy to attach with Flare Witch, but also enough energy to get your manual attachments going through the game before you get the Delphox break. So overall, a really strong deck. A lot of versatility in terms of being able to attack with Talonflame break, and oftentimes, as I said before, Flickering Flames is a really good attack. Auto Sleep is not to be underestimated. I've won games on coin flips which I had no right to win, purely because I put them to sleep, they couldn't wake up, they couldn't switch out of the active, and then I could just Psystorm their only attacker. So Flickering Flames, I'd strongly recommend using it if you can't get a KO with Psystorm to try and protect your Delphoxes. Alright, so that's basically the deck. It's fairly straightforward, very hard hitting. You'll go behind, your opponent might go 3-4 prizes up, but you'll be able to come back just because they can't one-hit KO your Delphox breaks, and you can just sweep their board very, very quickly while ending them down, so they can't really get anything else going. So that's pretty much the deck. It's pretty simple, but it's pretty hard hitting. I really like it. So let's get into some games now. Hope you guys enjoy. Hit that subscribe button for more videos. Cheers, guys.
Alright, let's see what this deck can do. So we call heads, and we win the coin flip, which is awesome, so we get to go first. Of course we're going to want to go first, never want to go second really. And let's see what my opponent's playing. He's got Xerneas sleeves and a Xerneas deck box. Alright, so we mulligan the first turn. Haven't revealed too much to our opponent. He's probably thinking rare candy, fire energy. What? I'm going to get an easy win for the ladder grind. So we'll shuffle in here. So again, ideally we want to start with Talonflame here. And the 40 damage from Air Blitz is actually pretty big. It comes in handy quite a bit because you get some nice chip damage, and we do indeed start with a Talonflame, which is really lucky because the only other basic in our hand was Shaman. We definitely don't want to start with that. But we actually have a really nice opening hand. So let's see what my opponent's playing. Anytime now. Alright, so he's playing, looks like Rainbow Road. Okay, so this is an interesting matchup. They've got one prize attackers, but they also run EXs. So we're going to be able to knock out things. So probably I'm going to search for a Fennekin here. Ultra Ball, grab another Fennekin, discarding the Sycamore in the end, and then I'll Shaman and set up for 5 cards after I drop the EXP share. So we'll see how things go. So as I said, they've got EXs, so they chose to start with the Volcanion up front, presumably so that they can max Elixir onto the bench and get a quick attack off. We don't really mind too much about the Xerneas. It's quite hard for them to power up Xerneas over and over. Rainbow Road really thrives on knocking out EXs, just like our deck thrives on knocking out EXs. So I'm not sure how they're going to go just taking one prizes on Talonflame and Delphox. They may end up running out of steam, and then we can claim their prizes by knocking out their EXs. So we have a really great start here. We even get to discard the Talonflame if we want to with the Ultra Ball. So we'll probably do that just to get rid of it while we can. And we'll get a DCE down as well, so that's really nice. We have 3 Fennekins, so pretty much a perfect start. You can't really ask for much more than that. So I choose to get a Talonflame here, probably because I'm going to Sycamore next turn. Of course I could have got my 4th Fennekin, but we'll see how things go. Sorry, not Sycamore next turn, Sycamore this turn. So I can get rid of the Talonflame in my hand, and then get it out of the deck. You might as well, while you have the opportunity, get rid of dead cards. I've already got 3 Fennekin on the field, so I don't really need the 4th one right now. There's time to get it. And I even get a Silent Lab. So that's an excellent first turn. I have the Rare Candy Delphox for next turn. So I'm looking really, really good here. So the Silent Lab's big. It shuts off their Shamans. Of course, Rainbow Road usually plays things like Skyfield and things to bump the stadium. But they got to have it in hand when they want to play the Shaman. So not the most likely, but he's in fact got a Parallel City. And he chooses to restrict our bench. Not sure if he misclicked there and he meant to put it the other way, because now we get to discard the Shaman off our field for no drawback, which is really good. So our opponent's very kind, maybe pitying us after seeing Fennekins. He's probably thinking, the scrub, I'll help him out, discard the Shaman. So he's running EXP share as well, and the Mew. So of course our Silent Lab shuts off Mew as well, so they won't be able to copy attacks. And he just passes. Alright, so not a great turn. We didn't see a Bishop or not a bishop, a pawniard, sorry, or a Joltik come down, which is usually what Rainbow Road wants to get down on its first turn, because of course, so here we get Rare Candy Delphox. We're going to be able to Aero Blitz after the end, but as I was saying, of course, Galvantula and Bishop are both dual types, so they provide a lot of extra damage, and I actually choose not to end here, because my opponent didn't really do much. They didn't get a lot of basics out, and I'm going to be able to get a Rare Candy and probably a Delphox break here and get set up really quickly. So I've got a Rare Candy, and I've got the Delphox in hand to Rare Candy one of my other Delphoxes next turn. I'm going to be able to break as well, so really great start, and this is the power of the Talonflame with Aero Blitz. So we'll see what my opponent can do. Probably going to try and pressure us here. Okay, so we see an Acrobike. He discards a fairy, so he's probably got one in hand, and he does. He attaches it. Level ball, probably going to get something like a Joltik. So really he's going to be digging for a float stone here to try and retreat and get an attack off. So right now we've got some nice chip damage onto the Volcanion EX, so he actually gets a switch. And he Sycamores here. So he's got 4 types on the bench right now, so he's hitting the 130. So we're getting knocked out this turn, but that's alright, I don't mind too much. We even have an end for next turn. So probably my plan here is Rare Candy Delphox, attach a Fire Energy, break the other Delphox, and then Flare Witch, and then knock him out and end him down, and hope he's not going to be able to get the energy to attach. And he actually switches just to burn a card, so he can Shaman for more cards. So he's already attached from hand this turn. He's got no real Max Elixir target at the moment. Well, there goes that. So he's now got a Max Elixir target. But I was going to say, if he hasn't got a Max Elixir target, I can knock out that Xerneas, and then it's going to be really hard for him to get an attack off the following turn. But he does indeed hit the 190 massive damage. So I'm probably going to promote the Fennekin with the DCE. As you can see, it's lagging a little bit, which is a bit unfortunate. So this is where EXPedia comes in really nice. I get to attach the Fire Energy, and I promote the Fennekin with the DCE, so I can Rare Candy into the Delphox. So let's... So here we go. I even top deck another end just for insurance. So I should Break Evolve here, and then Rare Candy the active Fennekin. So really my opponent's got no follow-up once I knock him out and then end him down. He is getting 5 cards and then 1 extra card with the Sycamore. Oh, and I actually misclick, and I evolved the benched Fennekin. So this is a huge misplay. So this is really going to put me behind, and you can see I'm running out of Fire Energy in the deck. So this is what I was saying about Super Odd, but actually probably quite a lot of energy is prized, because I've only got 2 on the field and 1 in hand, and there's only 1 more left in my deck. So I'm thinking about just, yeah, so I have to attach the DC to the bench Delphox, and this is really bad now, because I could have got a knockout here, but unless I draw a Rare Candy Delphox, we get the Delphox, but we don't get the Rare Candy. So I'm in a bit of strife here, because I'm running low on attackers already. So I'm going to level ball, grab my other Fennekin. Luckily it's not prized. So we've got all 4 Fennekins this game. So that was a big misclick and a big misplay on my part. There's nothing I can really do. I can hope for a Tail Whip heads. So Tail Whip, flip a coin. If heads, your opponent can't attack next turn. And I get tails. So Tail Whip fails, and I've just wasted 3 energy. So a huge mistake. And we'll see what happens. So that might end up costing us the game. So you can see the lag there, and that's probably what caused the mistake. My opponent's got Delinquent, so I got to be wary of that. I want to play into that. So He attaches to the Mew. Probably looking for a max elixir here. Gets an N. So, yeah. I'm still in a decent spot. But if he manages to Lysander and knock out my Delphox break, I'll be in quite a bit of trouble. So I'm just having a look how many rare candies I've played or discarded, just one. So I still have plenty of outs to get my 4th Delphox into play, but it's pretty unfortunate. So my opponent's going to go 2 prizes up here, and he's got a backup Mew as well to attack. So really my plan here is to knock out his Xerneas. So this is where the EXP share comes in great again, really conserving my energy on board. So my plan here is probably to, if I can ever get the Delphox out, my plan here is to end him and hope to draw a Silent Lab so I can shut off his Mew. And then off his 4-card end plus a top deck, he'd need a Supporter, or a Stadium, sorry, and a Fairy Energy to use Rainbow Force. So that's going to be my plan for this turn. I'm probably still a bit tilted from rec-handing the wrong Fennekin. And I'm just going to end here. I'm going to Flare Witch just so I don't draw into the Fire Energy. And it also thins out the deck, so I increase my odds. And that's my last Fire Energy. So we're hitting a lot of damage. There's, let's see, 3, 5, 6 energy on our side and 5 energy on his side, so 11 energy in total. So we're hitting 220 with Psystorm. So that's how fast things can go. And we do get the rare candy Delphox, which is really nice because we can Ultra Ball away the Ranger and the Brexham to get the Delphox. Probably want to keep that Lysander because I'm going to need to knock out one of the Shaman EX and the Volcanion EX to win the game probably. So right now, if you look at the board, I've got 3 attacks. Assuming, because Rainbow Road hits really high damage, right? They're going to be able to one-shot our break. So I've got 3 attacks. So 3 attacks isn't enough to win the game because I'm going to have to knock out 2 non-EXs. So really, I'm going to hope that I can tank 1 hit with my Delphox break, and that'll give me enough time to win the game. So we knock out his Xerneas, and I'm hoping we didn't get the Silent Lab. I draw a Delphox break, which is really nice off the prizes. So this gives me an extra opportunity to perhaps tank, and we'll see if I can do it. So we whiffed the Silent Lab, as I said. So his Mew can attack now with Rainbow Force, and they're going to take a knockout on our Delphox. So he puts another Xerneas down onto the bench, and he ends us. So unfortunately we lose the Delphox, but the Delphox break, but we get 5 new cards, so that's not bad. And we redraw the Lysander and a Sycamore. And we have Rare Candy Delphox, but nothing to Rare Candy. So he's got 2 Xerneas on the bench, so his Rainbow Force isn't doing too much damage, although he does get the Galvantula with the dual typing. So right now he's got 3, 5, 6 types on the bench, so that's 190. And he does indeed knock out our Delphox. And getting the Fire Energy is really nice off the EXP share, because as we saw, a lot of my Fire Energy is prized. So those EXP shares have really come in handy because I've basically got conserved those energies onto my Delphox break, which I'm going to attack with now. So I'm gonna look to draw my other break this turn to stop any easy Lysander targets. But I decide to just take the knockout on the Volcanion, possibly anticipating an N. So I don't Flare Witch because I know I have no Fire Energy in the deck. Possibly anticipating the N, I'm going to knock out the Volcanion because we only run 1 Lysander, right? Well, our deck's still pretty thick, and there we see 2 Fire Energy off the prizes. So anticipating the end, I just take the Volcanion prize while I can. Now what I need to win, and I'm hoping that by getting rid of the dual type Volcanion as well, that he's not going to have enough damage to knock out our Delphox. So pretty nice play there. So ideally, we're going to get our Delphox breakout to the one on the bench, and I think I should have enough in the tank to win the game from there, because we've knocked out our opponent's Volcanion EX, so they've lost 60 damage from their Rainbow Force attack, which is quite a lot. So, and they have 2 Xerneas on the bench, so really they're not hitting much damage right now. They're hitting 130, which isn't enough to KO even the normal Delphox on the bench. And indeed he does end us, and we draw a pretty nice hand in that we get a Sycamore. So he max elixirs and whiffs. So I'm feeling pretty comfortable about my position here. I'm going to be able to knock out this Mew, and then I just need a Lysander onto the Shaman to win the game. Of course I could whiff. It's very, very easy to whiff, but we have a lot of VS Seekers left. And I draw Fire Energy, and we had our Fire Energy shuffled back, so I'm going to be able to Flare Witch here. Oh, this is really nice. We attach to the bench. So pretty interesting game here. Definitely nothing's in the bag yet, because we could very well whiff the Lysander onto the Shaman for the game. But at the same time, so we do manage to draw the Delphox break, which is pretty nice. So, and we get a Silent Lab. So this is an interesting decision. What do I Super Rod back? Because I do actually have a Delphox in my hand. So, and my opponent still needs to take 3 prizes to win the game. So he still needs to knock out the 2 Delphox breaks. So I can probably afford to put 1 Fennekin down. And I might even Super Rod the Shaman back to avoid, to max out my chances of drawing the Lysander if we get End down to 2. Because I can always draw a Shaman, right? And then set up. So I'm debating what to do here. It's a tough Ultra Ball, because I also probably want to keep the Silent Lab as well. To stop him from maybe using Shamans and things to draw into his ends to disrupt us. So I just choose to Ultra Ball just to see what's left in the deck, if I have any Delphoxes and things. So that was probably not the ideal play. I probably should have known what my Delphox line was in the deck, and then I could have Super Rodded first and then Ultra Balled and grabbed a Fennekin, but I wasn't sure, so the safest play was just to Ultra Ball first and check what I had, and then play the Super Rod after that. I think I'll put back a Fire Energy here. So I've pretty much given up on ever being able to get out another Delphox, because I don't think there's enough time in the game. If you think about it, we're going to get knocked out next turn, then we're going to be able to bench the Fennekin. So I kind of forced myself into a bad spot there by having to play the Ultra Ball first. And I Ultra Ball to thin out the deck by a card. And I can also retreat my Delphox break here, just to conserve it, force him to have more cards to knock out and take a prize. So that's pretty nice. There's plenty of energy on the field, so I'm not worried about not being able to knock out Shaman. So there we go. And I didn't play the Silent Lab. Possibly, and the most likely reason I didn't play it there was to, you don't want to bump their Parallel City, because then they can play the other Parallel City and then bump their own Shaman. So if I bump their Parallel City, they can play another Parallel City and use that to bump their Shaman, which is my win condition, so I don't want them to do that. So I didn't play the Silent Lab there, and I really probably didn't think that turn out as best I could, because if I was going to do that, then I could have just discarded the Silent Lab So these things happen. This is what you learn by watching back games. So it's really good for me, and I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. And we draw the VS Seeker off the end, so we're going to be able to Lysander for the game here, which is great. So this is the power of Delphox. Rainbow Road you think would not be the most favorable matchup because they have non-EX attackers, but they do run enough EXs that we're able to capitalize because they really do need that Volcanion to hit the high damage to try and knock out Delphox breaks. So we Lysander in the Shaman, and this is going to be game. So 1-0 to Delphox break. So amazing card. Psystorm, 200 damage, and we're going to take our last 2 prizes. So a great game there, a great win, and we'll move on to another game. Alright, let's get into another game. I have refreshed with some H2O water. So let's see what we're playing against. Got a Rayquaza coin. Hopefully not playing against Ray because that's quite a bad matchup. They can hit damage really fast. And again, we start with the Talonflame, which is awesome. And again, we have a Shaman in hand. We're really happy to start with that Talonflame. And we have a pretty nice hand. I'm probably going to have to discard that Super Rod, which is a bit unfortunate, but that's life. And it's a Giratina, so either a Darkrai Giratina or a Xerneas Giratina. We'll have to wait and see. So we get our Fennekin's going straight off the bat, which is awesome. We'll just drop our whole hand here. We'll probably keep the Ultra Ball for later. Maybe we can get, if we draw a Delphox, or maybe we might even just hold this hand and after the Shaman, just so we can get a Rare Candy Delphox next turn. So a pretty nice hand, and we'll see what we draw off the setup. So Darkrai Giratina is a really positive matchup as long as we can get set up. So we even draw the Talonflame Break for next turn, which is really cool. So we have an awesome turn coming up if we don't get End out of this hand. I debated not attaching that energy so that I can Breaksin and then Ultra Ball away whatever I top deck in the fire for the Delphox. So then I can play out my whole hand except the Sycamore. So yeah, Darkrai Giratina is a really favorable matchup if we can get our Delphoxes going, because they don't really have an attacker that's going to be able to take out our Delphoxes without adding extra damage to us. Because Darkrai, for its Dark Pulse attack, it needs 9 energy on the board to one-shot a Delphox Break. So 9 energy for them, sorry, not 9, 8 energy on the board to one-shot a Delphox Break. So 8 energy for them is 160 damage for us. So even with fighting Fury Belt, we still get the one-shot on them just attacking with our Delphoxes. So, and Giratina, yes, it stops our double colorless, but really that's not too big with the Delphox Break. We can get out our fire energies. So here we go. He's max elixiring. He's probably underestimating the power of Delphox here. So he's already got 3 damage on the board, and I'm licking my chops because that means 60 damage for me. So this is awesome. This is a super hand. I'm going to be able to Ultra Ball away the Breaksin, get a Delphox into play, and then Sycamore, and also play out my Talonflame Break, which is great. So he's not going to be able to easily knock out Talonflame Break, and it may come to a situation where I can even one-shot something with a Talonflame Break, so that's pretty nice. So, okay, so we get a Silent Lab, which is cool. So I'm probably going to attach the fire, and I'll probably search out a Rare Candy and a Delphox Break here off this Aero Blitz. So we dropped the Silent Lab. I don't think that's too relevant at this point. He can't retreat the Giratina. That's probably the only thing with Dragon Road, but usually Darkrai Giratina plays a lot of like escape ropes or float stones and things like that, so it shouldn't be too hard. And then we see the float stone onto the Giratina, so he's going to be able to easily... Oh, and he retreats to the Hooper, so he's got a pretty dead hand, I would think. Oh, no. Bad news bears for my opponent. I'm going to go off here. So, we'll rare candy the Delphox. Get our Delphox break. Flare Witch, get some energy into play. So this is a pretty nice turn. And I might even, because I know my opponent didn't play a supporter next turn, I might even just be content to just not play my Sycamore, get a Fennekin into play, and then Aero Blitz and search out a rare candy and maybe another Delphox break. So it's looking pretty good. So, I mean, yes, my opponent did get off to a slow start, but realistically, he wouldn't have been able to one-shot our Giratina, not our Giratina, sorry, what am I saying? Talonflame break. And so we probably would have still had this same turn regardless. Only thing is he would have been pressuring a knockout on our Talonflame break. But we've got everything for next turn, so we're looking really good. And pretty much with this board state, it's fairly hard to lose the game from here because they only have EXs. I mean, they've got an Yveltal, baby Yveltal on the bench, but that's not doing much against us. So we've got 3 Delphoxes to attack with, and usually if you get off 3 attacks, you're going to knock out 3 EXs. So tempting to attach with the Flare Witch onto the Talonflame break so that I can use Flare Blitz, but I think the more conservative thing here would be just to power up my Delphoxes, because then I could Flare Blitz and knock out his Hooper. He's got no cards in hand, so at this point the game is pretty much over. Look how much energy we've got into play. 2, 5, 6, 7 energy into play. He's got 5 energy for us, so that's already 12 energy in play. I'm looking for my other Fennekin, but it's prized. That's alright. With 12 energy in play, we're hitting 240. We of course can keep getting energy with DCs and things. So I'm just going to start pressuring now. No reason not to. As I said, 3 attacks with 3 Delphoxes and we win the game. So alright. Getting our Talonflame off the prize is never nice because you can't use it at all. And you're taking a dead card and possibly putting it back into your deck if you get End or something. So, yeah, my opponent's pretty much dead in the water here. There's nothing they can do. Eli Sanders to try and stall maybe. But we have a DC in hand to just Psy Storm. We're going to take another 2 prizes here. And yeah, that should be game. Possibly the only thing I need to be careful of is Lysander stalling the Shaman because I've used up a lot of energy. So it's possible that I run out of energy to retreat, but pretty unlikely because we don't play any switching cards or anything. So I'm just Flare Witching to have a look. Yes, I have 1 energy still to retreat my Shaman. And this is pretty good. So I can Flare Witch again because I still have the energy in hand. And I think maybe I should attach to the Shaman just in case of that Lysander play. But I choose to attach to the Talonflame break just because I'm so far ahead it's not really going to make a difference. And 320. Ooh. So we're one-shotting anything in the game at this point. My opponent probably can't do anything here. So this is the power of Delphox break. Again, if he was pressuring us, I don't think it would have really mattered. Our setup was so strong, we probably still would have come out on top. As I said, Darkrai Giratina needs to put out energy to win. So that's all she wrote, and let's get on to another game. Alrighty, game 3. And we're going second this time. So first time we're going second. Let's see what happens. And we don't start with the Talonflame. Alright, so this is where the deck can run into some problems. So really, not starting with Talonflame really hurts this deck because you don't want your Fennekins getting knocked out early game because you only have 4. So it's another Darkrai Giratina deck. Alright, so we'll see if we can pull another one out on them. This one might be a bit harder because we're not starting with Talonflame. But at least we have a level ball and we started with 2 Fennekins, so that's pretty nice. I might even play that Shaman and just retreat into it as a sacrifice. Because, yeah, I'd much rather have my Fennekins than my Shaman. I don't really mind too much. After I play the Shaman, it's pretty much useless because I usually drop a Silent Lab or something like that. So, we'll see. So my opponent gets a much better start this time. They've got a Fighting Fury Belt and a Darkrai with an energy on it. They're probably just going to try and go off here. They do play Garbodor, which shuts off our Flare Witch ability, but Darkrai Giratina already put so much energy into play that it's painful to have our Flare Witch shut off, but it's not the end of the world. He's going to Hooper, probably go Giratina and Shaman, and yep, a Hydreigon as well. So it's interesting that a lot of Darkrai Giratina decks are playing Hydreigon. I don't feel it's that great in the deck. I think I'd rather just play switching cards, like Switch and Floatstone and things. But anyway, I guess it can use Shred. So Shred with a Fighting Fury Belt can do 90 damage, which will 2-shot things like Glaceon. So that's quite nice. So that's maybe the reason why a lot of Darkrai Giratina decks are running the Hydreigon. But again, Pokemon Ranger gets around Delphox, so it's an okay card. Alright, so we top deck a VS Seeker, which is a bit unfortunate. So I'm just checking what's prized. We have a Candy prized. We have a Silent Lab prized. What else? A couple Energy, 1 Talonflame, and 1 Delphox. So I should probably have just attached to the active and retreated to the Shaman. Because, as I said, the Shaman's not really that valuable. I'm just going to stick them all here. It's much more beneficial to keep my Fennekin alive. And we don't draw a great hand, to be honest. A couple of VS Seekers, a Delphox, and some Fire Energies are not very useful. Especially because we don't want to be discarding all those resources. And one of our Delphoxes is prized, so discarding a Delphox with a Sycamore will be quite painful. So this is not the best start for us. And he's going to knock out our Fennekin, but he very kindly ends us into a new hand. Thank you very much. So we'll see what we draw. Still a pretty garbage hand, really. And now I'm really wishing I'd retreated into the Shaman, I think. Yeah, he's going to Dark Pulse for a knockout. And I can Sky Return here, but I think it's more valuable to keep the energy in play. We fortunately top deck a Delphox. We can wreck any Delphox here and attach a Fire Energy probably, or a DC. Yep, attach a DC. Why not? So the other thing you need to also do is spread out your energy and your resources, because you want to put your opponent in tough spots where they have to choose between. So I'm not sure why I don't just rare candy Delphox here. I'm thinking about what I'm going to Ultra Ball next turn, because I probably want the Delphox break. So let's see, I can rare candy Delphox and Ultra Ball away. What am I thinking of getting? So the two options here are to get a Delphox break or to get a Fennekin. So I decide just to evolve up right now. So then I can evolve into the Delphox. But I'm not too sure why I wouldn't just rare candy Delphox. It doesn't change anything by evolving into the Braixen. I don't get any extra cards to Ultra Ball with, so I probably should have just, yeah, rare candy Delphox there. Not too sure why I didn't just do that. But anyway, and we fortunately top deck a VS Seeker. So now I can go and grab my Delphox break. So I'll discard the rare candy and the Delphox. Grab the Delphox break. And I'm going to be able to get an attack off here. It's pretty nice. So he's got 4 energy in play, which is 80 damage, and I'll have 5 energy in play, which is 100 damage. So I'll be able to do 180 here. So 180 is not great, so really 180 is great, but really I should be trying to get one-shots here. So I think I should just use Flickering Flames here to do the 40 damage, then I can do the 180 next turn to knock out his Darkrai. And I should probably drop the Silent Lab, which I don't. Instead I Psystorm. What does this do? It prevents a retreat play, but where he discards his energy and lowers my damage output, but I think really the better play there would have been to Flickering Flames and do 40 damage. Then I can always follow up with a 180. Best case scenario, they stay asleep, and then I just get a free 2 prizes without taking any damage. So a couple of mistakes there on my part, but that's what happens. So I see that I've discarded 3 rare candy and a Braixen, so I may not be able to get my 3rd Delphox up, so I might want to just conserve my Delphox here. So I'm putting back a Shaman as well, just for later on in the game if I need it. I'm going to Flare Witch, attach to the bench. Okay, so I'm sacrificing the Delphox break. I don't know about this play. I think a better play would be to retreat, even though it's using up energy. I'm still getting the knockout regardless, and they've really got no follow-up, so I think a better play. Okay, so I'm gonna get bailed out here because I can access the Delphox break, so I can Flare Witch onto the Delphox, onto the active Delphox, and then retreat into the other Delphox break and then take a knockout that way. Never mind. I just bypassed that altogether, but I still retreat. Yeah, I probably should have kept the 2. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm spreading out my energy, but I think it would have been better just to keep 2 energy on the Delphox break. So draw an energy and a Talonflame. And really, my opponent's a bit stuck. There's no way they can do 180 to knock out our Delphox break this turn. We get a Fighting Fury Belt down, which is not that big. We're hitting so much damage already. Let's see, there's 4 energy on their side and 6 energy on our side. So that's 200, and I even top deck a DCE. So that's 240 right there. So yeah, we're getting a knockout. So So this is the power of the Delphox break. You can just really pile on the energy and my opponent scoops. So that's 2 Darkrai Giratinas we've taken down. Admittedly, they haven't drawn that well, but we didn't start with Talonflame that game, and we still managed, even with a few minor misplays, to pull it out fairly comfortably. So that was really nice. So let's see if we can get another game here. Okay, so the final game. Here we go. And yes, of course, win the coin flip. We're going first. Let's see what we're up against. So we've had pretty good luck so far, so we'll see if we can keep this going. We do start Talonflame, which is really nice. And we even have a Fennekin and a level ball. So this is pretty much an optimal first turn for us. We're going to be able to get 2 Fennekins into play, and we even have the rare candy Delphox in hand for the following turn. So this is great. Pretty much can't ask for a better hand than this. Even if I had a supporter, I probably wouldn't play it here just because we have the rare candy Delphox in hand. And getting the turn 2 Delphox is really critical. So turn 3 you can break and then go off from there basically. And we top deck another rare candy. So we'll get our Fennekin. Just checking to see what's prized. And we have one candy prized, and looks like our Brexons might be prized, so that's alright. So because the Brexons are prized, I'm even more willing just to stick around with the rare candies. So if I had a supporter, I probably wouldn't play it anyway. And we'll just pass here. I won't attach that DCE because I don't want to get it hammered away unnecessarily. There's no real point attaching it here. I'm not going to attack, so we'll just keep it in hand for next turn. And looks like my opponent starts double Jolteon EX. So this is somewhat scary for me, and he does attach a DC. And he gets a Steven here. I'm expecting him to search out a Water Energy and a Ninja Boy maybe, so that he can Ninja Boy into Glaceon next turn and start using Crystal Ray. So let's see if that's what he does. Jolteon decks usually play Glaceon to get around the evolution decks as well. So we'll see. No, just a Sycamore and a Lightning Energy. Okay. It's interesting that he didn't get a Water Energy there as well. So maybe he's tempted to take the knockout on the Talonflame. Talonflame's weak to Lightning, of course, so the 70 damage from Flash Ray is going to knock us out. And we even top deck another Delphox. So this is really optimal from us. The only downside is that Talonflame is probably going to get knocked out next turn, but we've got the Delphox break in hand. So I might even just Aeroblitz here and search for another Delphox break and a supporter like a Sycamore. Sycamore and either one's fine. Our opponent's gonna take a prize here on the Talonflame, so Sycamore N is fine. We'll take the Sycamore, and we're looking really good. 2 Delphoxes turn 2, and looking like we're gonna get 2 Delphox breaks turn 3. So pretty amazing. And our opponent does indeed attach the Lightning Energy. So as I said, I'm really worried about the Crystal Ray coming down before we get our Ranger into the discard pile. So we can start using the VS Seekers to get it back. So I'm really going to be digging for the Pokemon Ranger here. And my opponent just Sycamores, attaches a Fury Belt, drops the Regice, whiffs the Max Elixir, plays another one, and whiffs that too. Alright, so things are really going our way here. And just going to VS Seeker, grab the Sycamore, and probably Flash Ray for the knockout, and that's what he does. So 160, so I'm gonna be able to get 2 Delphox breaks into play, which means the maximum amount of energy I can attach this turn is 4. That's the 2 Flare Witches and then a DCE, plus the 3 energy he's got in play already. That makes 7, so I can do 140 damage max, which is 20 short of a knockout. So I think I'll just Flare Witch onto the bench, and then attach that fire energy to the active and just use Flickering Flames. If you're not going to get a knockout with the Psystorm, it's very rare that you'd use it, I mean, yes, there are cases where you want to set up KOs later down, but in this case, we might as well just use the Flickering Flames, try to put him to sleep, and if he stays asleep, then we get a free attack the following turn. And we'll still be able to get the knockout regardless the following turn, just because of how much energy is on the board already, and the fact that we have 2 Delphox breaks out. So yep, that's indeed what I decided to do, and he does stay asleep, so this is amazing for us. My hand off the Sycamore is not that great. A lot of resources there, which I'm going to have to discard to try and dig for the Pokemon Ranger. And he discards a bunch of water energy without attaching any of them. So this makes me think that they're not playing Glaceon, which is really weird. I don't know why you wouldn't play Glaceon in this deck. You're already playing water energy and DCE. It just seems too easy to put a Glaceon in. So maybe just a really meta-specific deck from our friend, the greatest player. But he's missed the metagame here. He's run into Delphox. Round 1, and he's getting trolled. So he attaches a DCE to the Jolteon. Now, I'm still going to keep digging for that Ranger on the off chance that he is playing a Glaceon. Maybe he discarded those water energies because his Glaceon's prized or something like that. So I'll definitely still dig for that Pokemon Ranger. And we top deck a DCE, which is not great, because now we got to discard even more resources. And I'll just Flare Witch. So our opponent's really in a tough spot here. We've got 6 energy on the field ourselves, and they need 3 energy to attack. So that's 9, that's 180. So yeah, they're really in a tough spot. And we even get 2 Fennekins. I think I'll use the opportunity just to get rid of the Talonflame from the board, from my deck, sorry. Because I don't want to be ended into a Talonflame later down the track, so I'll just discard it, even if it means getting rid of a Fire Energy. And we do see the Ranger is in the deck, as well as Lysander. So, yeah, I mean, what can my opponent really do here with Jolteon? Not much. He's only hitting 70 damage, so that's a 3-shot on our Delphox breaks, whereas we're one-shotting him. And even Regice with Resistance Blizzard is doing 140, which is not enough for a knockout on a Delphox break. He can paralyze us. We don't play any switching cards or anything like that, so that would be annoying if he paralyzed us and then knocked us out the following turn with Resistance Blizzard. But at this point, he's got a Shaman and another Jolteon on the field, so there's my remaining 4 prizes there. And I've got so much energy in play, I'm pretty comfortable about my spot. And anytime now, my opponent, the greatest player, is going to accept the fact that his Jolteon's gone down. Any day now. So if we beat the greatest player, what does that make us? Anyway, anytime now. Alright. So my plan is just, it's a bit annoying that my Breaksons are prized, because it would really be nice to get one of them into play as some security in case I start when my Delphox break gets knocked out. But I may not even need another Delphox. I think these 2 Delphox breaks are going to go all the way here. So this is the power of Delphox break. If you get a couple into play, even if you get 1 into play, just that extra energy drop per turn. Oh, my opponent's sad. With the lightning. What's he gonna do? But yeah, this is the power of Delphox break. That extra energy attachment per turn really racks up the damage for Psystorm. And he just passes. So nothing really going my opponent's way. I'm going to drop that DCE, which is going to be a knockout. I might as well just hold the candy till next turn, I think. I could dig for the ranger. Okay, so I actually decide to drop the DC and just candy the Delphox while I can. I've got two Flare Witches that I can use, so that's fine. So I should, and he scoops, and that's the game. So if you guys liked this video, definitely hit that subscribe button. Plenty more content to come. Hoping to film some live tournament games, and we'll be uploading those to our channel with commentary as well. So stay tuned for more, guys. Cheers.